Content warning. Tales of Tupenia features some depictions and descriptions of violence, as well as themes consistent with abuse and alcoholism. These are not incredibly common, but be warned. Hey everybody, Belby here, the DM of Tales of Tupenia. Just a couple of announcements before we start up session. Tales of Tupenia is a D&D live play show created by fans for fans, and as such features many homebrew elements. We're not actors nor experts, we're just a group of friends having fun. That being said, we are aware of some audio issues that are present throughout the early episodes. In a campaign that we plan on being full length, please bear with us as we work to make the best show and viewer experience that we can. Furthermore, there will be an effect that plays occasionally in a place of a small number of places, institutions, and people. Right here. This sound effect is intentional and will be explored and explained as the campaign goes on. If you're interested in supporting the show, check out the link to the Patreon in the video description, which will feature different levels of access, including but not limited to Side of Tots, a talkback show that begins at around episode 16, as well as a monthly gaming video with the party, and our quarterly merch, which for the first quarter will only be $10 a month, since Side of Tots will be following behind. Thank you, and appreciate your support for the show. Bye!
On the Lamani Islands, they say if the Hollow Mountain sings to you, you should always listen, for the song itself can carry you out to sea. This was, of course, the one place Uprush always wanted to go. Dmitry Zephius gained the nickname Uprush from a young age, as he always displayed a surge of emotion and passion, strong enough to sweep away any who were ill-prepared for his enthusiasm. He's like an uprush of seawater when he talks, became the easiest way to describe him to seafarers, wondering why an 8-year-old might be hanging out by the docks so often. Aside from his enthusiasm regarding shipfaring, Uprush's mother helped with restocking seafaring ships that would stop by the islands, so meeting seafarers was the norm. This norm for young Uprush was shaken up when a young girl with curly hair made her way onto the island, proclaiming all the world's gold and cookies would be hers someday. From then on, Uprush and the girl nicknamed Cookie would spend their days together fantasizing about being adventurers out on the open sea. Cookie's father would take Uprush under his wing, despite the concerns of Uprush's mother. As he became a man, Uprush gained respect and camaraderie aboard the ship known as the Great White. But Uprush saw a side of the captain no one else quite recognized. Amidst an attempt to convince Cookie to leave the crew with him permanently, Uprush was accused of mutiny, shot in the chest, and left aboard a dinghy to float out at sea. The last thing Uprush heard was the sound of his friend's voice, the splash of the waves, and the sound of the wind's song, all before reaching the unfamiliar shores of Balestone. Chasing a way back out into the open seas, Uprush took a bartending to accrue enough coin and a new crew, all with the hope of reuniting with his dearest friend.
Born to seafaring merchants, Jack and Robin, hailing from Arigian and Calcary, neither of whom were willing to give up a life on the sea. Hector grew up barely 4 years before returning to the sea for a life of adventure. His youngest mentor in the clerical arts was a steward of the drowned, a medic known as Tim Callaghan. Eventually, his parents' honest merchant dealings led them into conflict with a pirate crew of a fearsome captain, where Hector's parents passed away tragically, with barely enough surviving members to crew the ship into the nearest harbor. Hector's friend Tim took him in, a blessing for young Hector that quickly was dashed as he was left with a smile in the main temple of the drowned stewards in the town of Cotton's Creek, to be raised by one Albert Sparrow, an older steward past his prime. Hector went on to become a fellow steward of the drowned, sailing the seas, protecting ships from the same fate that befell his parents. One day, a group of pirates captured him and stuck him in the upstairs closet of a seaside cottage, held prisoner for a week until the early crew of the Bearded Dragon found him, a crew that Hector has stood fiercely by ever since.
Grow Kadag was born and raised in the kingdom of the Red Dawn. His parents, Shior and Calibax, and siblings and fellow orcs were brutal fighters, taught to hone their aggression in battle against their enemies. Grow grew to become the tallest and burliest of his family, and one of the largest offspring of the Red Dawn. A capable fighter with a gargantuan size, a towering stature, and mammothian teeth that would make any regular human quite intensely shit their pants. Through his straight, raven black hair parts at the middle, a real charmer. He was inducted into the Black Blood clan and went on many adventures. As time passed, the clan would realize something about Grow that infuriated them. He was a sweetheart. He would frequently gaze upon beautiful natural flora and fauna, would resist killing any individuals who wouldn't directly harm him. Whereas all the other orcs were intelligent in livelihood skills and battle practices and tactical knowledge, Grow was a simpleton. His sheer size and strength was enough for him to push through any obstacles presented to the Black Bloods. But even as the rest of the Black Bloods slowly turned their backs on him, Grow was too simple to see it. To him, they were his family. So he stayed with them, until one blissful morning when Grow woke to emptiness around him. The Black Bloods were gone, and Grow hadn't the slightest clue of where to go. Only a name. Bartholomew. Unfortunately, for Grow, he couldn't figure out how to pronounce it. He wandered the countryside finding people who at first rejected him and were scared of him, but would warm up to him through his politeness and simplicity. After many months of wandering and helping, 3 years later, Grow would eventually make it to the city of Benict in the kingdom of Pustab, where he befriended a total bar owner, Rue, and would help her with chores and errands. The city of Benict would see that Grow was an enigma, a condemnation of their treatment of orcs, but some would have prejudices too deep to set aside. Grow left the city, joining the crew of the Bearded Dragon to chase the thrill of battle and to make a new name for himself. With a new crew, a new weapon, and a new cause at his side, Grow's path wanders far away from those who once threw insults his way, even if he was too simple to understand them anyways.
Adrian Drake was born and raised in Winterstone. Being the second son of the Admiral of the Kingdom, Adrian always lived a life of adventure and wanted to be out at sea like his father. He and his brother lived their early lives with a nanny though Adrian snuck out multiple times into the slums, getting into trouble with his best friend Karn. Later on in his years, he was hired onto the Agalita, a trade ship with an older captain Adrian saw as second father. During one voyage at sea, an Asmer named Ariel came aboard trying to get Adrian to do a quest for his god, and would not leave until he did so. While the two were below deck in a heated argument, the Agalita was suddenly assailed by pirates, an all-out assault, which was suddenly disrupted as a bolt of lightning rent the sky, sinking the ship and all aboard it. Adrian woke up in the middle of the sea alone, at least that's what he thought, until days later, a dry voice echoed through his head. The self-same voice of the Asmer he previously encountered. Drake made his slow way back to port, where he and Ariel now share the same body, though not, perhaps, the same goals.
I do not recall when exactly I became what we are today, but here be what I will share. Little John Jack grew up in the slums of Smiva, me mama telling me the stories of Klek, the devourer of the treasonous, he who swallows the liars and cheats. Never understood why nobody heeded the warnings. We couldn't even trust our leaders, those meant to protect us. Instead, the Baron took me mother from me. I found a new home in the old elf tree, and found a new family all my own. Then he took that away too. I escaped the town with nothing but my clothes, and a few friends. And me brother, in all but blood, I would have followed him to the ends of the world. And I did. And we were free. But the world took that from me too. Han, my brother, he sold me out for wealth and power. Under the thumb of the Baron of Bimbolo, the very man who took everything from me, I found if you take enough from a man, you make a monster. With nothing of the little boy in me left, the fish from my mama's stories spoke to me. I thought it a mere illusion, but it delivered us to new friends and freedom. I know it take more than fables to fix the wrongs of the world. It'd be taken more than the blood, sweat, and tears that has already been taken. It'd be taken something more. With me crew, we be feeding the fishes.
Kidru grew up in a rowdy family. As the eldest of 5 children, he always hoped to keep an eye on his siblings. It wasn't easy growing up in the harsh cold of Satpia, but he was happy. Playing with siblings, ice fishing with his mom, and hearing stories of Satpia's heroics and grandeur from his father. Kid and his brothers, namely Kaivan and Kalir, loved these stories, and grew up wishing to join the military themselves one day. And when Kid was only 19 years old, that opportunity would come right to his village. Kid spent the following years of his life proving his bravery and his skill, and rising up the ranks of Satpia. But in doing so, he saw the nation for what it truly was, and began to doubt the actions he'd taken under a banner he once thought was great. It wasn't until the age of 42, 23 years later, that Kid met Jesse, a young Aarakocran boy he met in a village he was sent to enlist from. A young boy that reminded him of himself. That was his final straw. Rather than setting Jesse down the path he walked himself, he took the boy and they fled into the wastes. They wandered through a barren environment, hungry, thirsty, and left with nothing but time to think about the years wasted and the people he took advantage of. That the country he grew up idolizing and serving was corrupt. Kidru was ready to give up on himself, but he was driven by a responsibility to Jesse, to get him to safety. Crossing the waste, the two stumbled into the city of Zukamel, where they were discovered and rescued by the priests of the Albedic Temple. The priests were very welcoming and provided both shelter and care to Kid and Jesse. While the pair recovered, they were introduced by the priest to the Lambent Three, the moon deities, as well as their teachings. The serene grace of the Sapphire Queen, the strength wielded by the Copper Princess, and the willingness to change, championed by the Shattered Prince, which Kid resonated with strongest of all. After months of self-doubt, that message drove Kid to remake himself as a missionary, a wanderer, and a tool of this change, leading him into new lands, new struggles, and a new path to redeem Tupenia, as his gods and he seek to create.
Hello and welcome.
Whoa.
Middle finger to the camera. It's all you guys. It's you. No, hello and welcome back to this week's episode of Tales of Tupenia. Where last we left off, there had been a whole battle. You guys completely missed me giving you guys the finger off screen. So, you know, I had to put it right on here, you know, for sure. So you guys had an entire battle with the despot. You guys had snuck in, had infiltrated into the despotate proper, had a clandestine meeting after one of your like journals, Adrian Drake and Ariel's journal had been stolen by this sort of underground spy network, where you guys had this clandestine meeting. They showed you the entry point into the despot's tower, and you guys had managed to sneak inside, enter proper, kill some sort of beholder creature that was guarding these this sort of vents. I always forget the name of it. What was the name, Manny? I've forgotten the name again. Where you burn
Crematorium.
people. Crematorium. Thank you. Eventually that name will stick in my mind. Hey, I'm remembering the cruelty hall. Okay, you remember the crematorium. Okay, that's not my job. The cruelty hall. You know? So they sneak inside. They kill the generals. They shit in the despot's bed, and they sneak out like badasses after finding information on this sort of revival ritual that seems to have been created here with these like weird yellowish sorts of fluid vials, supposedly having been already administered on Uhura, who Jean-Jacques' friend from childhood found to be alive mysteriously, and not yet implemented on Joey, another of his friends from childhood, but had been implemented on the third prince of Pasab, some sort of lobotomy with death mechanics having been implemented to this guy. They escape, they get both of them out, and then they go into battle versus the despotate on the next day after blowing up the Walgreens pharmacy on the day before. Multiple Walgreens pharmacies. They find their way into battle. They attack the despot. They manage to take her down in a long, drawn-out battle, and the despot attempting to word of recall to escape, countered by Kid Roo in this last moment. And a fireball sets off at her feet, knocking the party members down, but we revived just at the end of last session. Were healed, well, not revived, healed from Hector Barbosa to Captain Uprush, and who else went down? Was it Uprush and Kid Roo? Was it Uprush and Jean?
I went down.
Yeah.
Hector went down.
Oh, Hector went down. Gotcha.
Well, I went down early
not.
in the fight.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
People went down late in the
The
fight.
explosion did not take out Hector.
Yeah. Right at the end, it definitely wasn't Kid Roo, because Kid Roo was the one hiding behind the tree, if I recall correctly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm looking right here.
He's like, hey, I was paying attention.
Oh, was it one of our allies? The NPCs?
No,
Oh,
it
the
was
gnome
neither of the NPCs. I think it might have been Jean-Jacques and Uprush. But anyway.
Yeah, I know I definitely went that because I was like, I was Dunyan Rings.
Yeah, healed and popped
Well.
back up. And we left off there as the last moments of this battle with the despot sort of comes to a close. As the despot's body falls with a loud howl sort of echoing out as this like explosion of energy like flares off of them. And the delayed fireball goes off. You all have a moment to collect yourselves as the sounds of battle nearby begin to slowly dwindle. And a loud cheer begins to go up around your area, the fall of the despot apparently catching the remainder of her army by surprise. You begin to see forces surrendering, falling, or fleeing, just sprinting in all directions to escape here as your allies begin to close on the battlefield. In this moment, you have Thricemark is with you, and this sort of general of the Tillydelian forces that you don't quite recognize. But you have this moment sort of around the battlefield there before anyone else closes in. Is there anything you guys would like to do?
If she just fell, I would like to rush to the despot
Okay.
to see if there's any life left in that foul creature.
Don't think you have to worry about that since Adrian's going to be cutting off the head.
It does not. Let's see. Roll a medicine check for me here.
All right. Don't worry,
What
no
is
more
all
no
in
more
that?
memory shenanigans as much as I'd like to.
Heck,
I
you're
just
gonna
wanna-
find a near big rock to just like
Yeah.
sit down and go, holy shit.
I just want to tell her something.
I'm just gonna plop down on the ground.
Yeah, 17.
17.
Take a second.
It doesn't. You're looking around for the same sorts of signs of entry that you had seen, like sort of like injection sites or things of that nature that you had seen on these other like recipients of this perverted ritual. You aren't spotting any on her. You aren't entirely certain if that's because it's like a thing that with the 17 you're not entirely certain if that's like a thing that's healed or if it's like she decided not to get it done. It's hard to tell. There's no outward markings or obvious markings on her.
Yeah, I'd like to reach out with my telepathy.
Okay.
She can't respond. I don't care.
Sure.
And tell her you do be real. If you find a way to come back, tell me what the inside of his stomach looks like.
Brilliant. All right.
And
roll-
I probably see Adrian like chomping at the bit, and I'm just like,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
And off with the head.
Go ahead.
Ah, there you go. He popped the head off with a one fell swoop here. Yeah, this sort of pallid unfeeling face still in this last moments, like I see nothing crossing across the visage. Yeah, you separate the head from the body, easy peasy pudding pie. And in this moment, yeah, so yeah, you have the head. What would you like to do something specific with it, or are you just removing the head?
Man's about to hang that shit on his hip like
I
Kratos.
was trying to remember. I was like, hold on, is he putting it on the chandelier?
Honestly, she might be like initially preserved all on her own, so maybe you can't. You're on your hip like right. I love that.
So I have a head. Ah!
You kind of in a moment or two after you guys sort of like take a moment to survey the battlefield, Senegal kind of Thricemark comes up to kind of see what's going on. Uprush, you being the first person that he spoke to in the battle, he'll kind of clap you on the shoulder and he'll go, so that was horrifying. Was she turning into a bat before that point?
Just a shaken sigh.
She left the tower as a bat.
Oh,
We
okay.
heard wings when we left, yeah.
Okay,
Was that before or after I shat in her bed?
He kind of looks
after.
at you and he just goes, hold on. Is this the second? I believe you guys. This might be the second time that you have mentioned to me that you have been involved in shitting shenanigans.
It was all his idea.
Yeah.
Has it?
Yeah, you mentioned the what's
Yeah.
his name?
We left poop on that guy's
No, it was a colonoscopy.
Yeah,
Right, he had a colonoscopy, that's what.
yeah. You guys scheduled a forced colonoscopy.
I don't remember. I drop ideas like that, and like it's
It was
nothing.
like
it
it was
just
over a year and a half ago, so I'm not
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah. Understandable. Well,
Quite a while
anyways,
ago.
he goes, I'm hoping that my men over there, he kind of like gestures over the battlefield. He goes, I'm hoping that my men have got all of the sorts of rounding up of the survivors handled. He kind of like looks over his shoulder and he's like, yeah, okay, they seem to be doing pretty all right. He turns around and the gnome is gone, and he's like, huh, I assume that he would want to stick around for a little bit longer.
He seemed like he was in a hurry when he got here.
Yeah, I imagine that was probably to join the battle, but yeah, it's well, we've got a few other important dignitaries. He looks over, and actually you see now Velumtok, Lajaran Velumtok, the crown prince, begins to enter the battlefield and just like gives you guys like a cordial wave. He's like, yes, there are actual dignitaries that are going to be here for, well, he gestures around you, all of this. At which he also kind of like looks back to Jean-Jacques because he goes, reminds me again, someone, I believe that you mentioned that you had already sent some sort of uprising.
Yes, up in the northwest, we had armed a small contingent of rebels in freeing. There's something with those names between Stelay
and Smevad. It's getting them confused.
It's Smevad. They just
yeah.
They're starting to blend together in your brain.
They have so much resonance in my head that it just can't.
Pull up the map.
I am already in the process.
Loading map.
Not the map, but the. Okay, so Stelay is the smuggling town.
Oh yeah, so
by Bahan.
Yes, Stelay is the closest.
Smeva is the little hometown with the dead tree.
Yes.
Now burnt down dead tree.
Yes.
Okay. Born in Smeva, went to Stelay.
So he kind of.
So they. Wait, were they starting in Smeva then moving to Stelay?
Yes. You.
Okay, so yeah, they okay, got it. Awesome. So anyway.
Right.
So yeah, because a contingent of rebels that rallied in Smeva, and then were set to make their way towards Stelay to free the northwestern quadrant of the country.
He goes, all right. Well, let's see. So I believe that, I mean, we'll need to send. I imagine that we'll still need to send half these towns around here. I imagine we'll still need to send contingents through to, fully liberate them and smoke out any sorts of traitors and things of that sort, loyalists. But as it is for now, I mean, Despot's dead, so that's one of the things. Okay, so he kind of like takes a second to collect himself, and he goes,
I just look back towards Adrian.
Oh yeah.
What's he doing with the head?
Oh, what is Adrian doing with the head?
Oh God! What are you doing?
It's being put on the end of the Heretics Vindication.
Oh hell yeah! he's mounted it on the sword.
Yep.
You put it on a pike.
Really? you kind of hear in your head, just,
pike,
yes, the taste of flesh.
Oh God, it does talk.
His image is gonna be burned into my head for the rest of the evening.
Mm-hmm. He kind of looks around and he goes, okay, is there anything? He starts to bend down and like search her body just very quickly, just like in terms of, he's like, okay, no weapons.
Yeah, there's probably good
no.
loot.
Yeah, he's like, oh, there's a spell book. He kind of like tosses it over his shoulder. Like,
Oh, what the?
nice, brilliant. I'll send that to you.
I've somewhat considered making the horrible decision of multi-classing into
Triple class.
triple class.
Get in there.
Yo,
so he kind of like
Asterisk.
kind of like just tosses it over his shoulder.
Although my int is it's a +0, so legally, mechanically, I can't. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll pick up like ritual casting from like Warlock or something. I don't know. Could I? No, I'm not book.
He kind of like chucks it over his shoulder, and he takes a second, and he like looks around, and he goes, "Okay, well, let's see. I believe that they should be sending a and you see that there's kind of like a taller, sort of stocky, like looks like sort of like a farm hand or something, with sort of like sandy blonde hair, kind of like walks up to you guys, and just goes like, yes, I was told that I should rally you guys and send you over to and he kind of like gestures over to up at the top of like the bluffs, just like above that sort of like crystallized area of the battlefield. He's like, they're gonna be setting up a tent over there, for any sort of war preparations. Or I guess not war preparations, but peace preparations.
Resolution.
You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peace talks, reparations. That's a good one.
All right. And he kind of like looks at all of you guys and he goes, "All right, is that it? Is that all you got for me? Can I?" He kind of like gestures back over his shoulder.
That were on the verge of collapse for financial reasons.
Because there's some cleanup to be done. Kind of like Senegal kind of looks at him and goes, "Yes, very well. That'll be all." And like waves his hand, and this guy kind of like turns around and walks off.
Oh, never mind. All the armies are foreign.
Yeah. So he
I
kind of
hate
like
that.
wanders off, and you guys begin to make your way over to where they're setting up this sort of tent. And as you enter inside, you begin to see that there are a number of currently, let's see, there are sorry, 1 second. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 seats set up at the table here. And you see Lajaron Valentok go and take his seat. His sort of like purple cloak, like covered in blood from the battle, it just like stains absolutely everywhere. He kind of like goes and he takes up the seat that's it's just 3 of them on opposite sides of the table, and they made the chance to like not set up like actual like chairs at the heads of the table so no one can like stunt on each other. So you watch as like he goes and just like takes one of like the 3 chairs on the left. Senegal comes up and sort of like sits right behind him, and just stands there. And you see that currently in the tent already there is on the right hand side there is a elf woman with sort of like yay long sort of black hair, blue eyes going on. You guys can roll a history check. Anyone here? I know I say history, but it's gotta be history.
Always gotta be history.
Gotta be history.
Okay, just because the dice has not been the kindest to me does not mean I want it in the trash.
Modifier? Oh well.
Dump itself into the
I'll
trash.
do it anyways.
Oh, natural 20.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Same.
It has the.
Nice.
Apparently, I just need to be mean to it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an accident, but
All right. So that was a natural 20 from Jean.
man, it was the last time I got one of those.
That was a 12 from Kid Roo. What was that from Drake, Hector, Adrian? Or Drake,
It was
Hector?
also natural 20 for me.
Natural 20
Crazy.
and
It was a no from me.
a no and a 16. Brilliant. Okay, so 16 uprush.
It
You
was a
for a
3.
Yeah. So on the nose, on my 12 and my 3, you take a look and you're like, huh. You kind of like shrug your shoulders. You guys aren't like, super into like the politics of the area necessarily. Uprush, there's something vaguely familiar about this woman, just for like a second. And like as you go to like nudge Jean-Jacques and Drake to like point it out, you guys with a natural 20, it flashes through your minds each individually, but at the same time, as you were sort of like exiting the chambers of Enderon, of the Fist of the Past, there was this woman that was standing, one of the hooded figures that was like along the sort of like lining the sort of exit way there, one of the ones who popped out on you guys. So this appears to be his envoy. You also see that there is sort of like a smaller, like a balding sort of, what the hell is happening with this? What the hell is happening with the music? My thing just like is cut out twice in a row.
It says I can't join it. I've tried to join it several times.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I had to run it from like the tab on the left to go and join it. I couldn't join it off the screen there.
Oh, someone
I
clicked.
think it's having
Okay,
problems, whatever it is.
Well, hopefully whoever's, I think it said you're hosting it now, Austin, so hopefully you're
I
on
think
that song.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you see kind of like a short, fat, sort of balding halfling with sort of like a white beard that goes down around here, who's sitting, he is sitting, where would he have picked to sit? He is sitting directly on the left-hand side, the 2 seats over from Lajaron. And he's kind of like sort of staring at you with this idle sort of expression on his face. there is also a knoll, and there are currently a let's see, and then striding. Yeah, there's like a sort of looks like a young looking knoll. Gentleman. You're not entirely certain, but sort of with this like orangish fur, who's kind of just like sitting there. He's kind of brandishing like this very ornate looking spear that he's just kind of like that he's got like up against his chair. Think like a high backed sort of wooden chair. He's got it like leaning like right over his shoulder, and he's like just casually tapping it against the chair behind him. And then striding in, you see the smallish black gnome that you saw before, bearded with the 2 swords. You see a white-haired elderly halfling woman who kind of strides in wearing like these full metal like armor, decked to the nines. And she's kind of carrying just this like large sword as well. She kind of goes and sits down, and it appears like she's gonna be like she's the one that like starts to like take the lead on the like describing, and she goes very well. Well, we're gathered here to discuss, which, by the way, pardon me, let me start with introductions and congratulations for you folks. And she kind of gestures at you guys, who she goes, I'm sorry, we don't really appear to have she like looks around for like extra seats, and she's like she like looks over at Thricemark, who's like the closest thing to like a civil servant that's here, and just like, why are there no extra seats? Why didn't we bring any seats for the heroes of the battle? He's like, I don't know. It was not very well informed to me that they would be joining us for this council afterwards. And like Lageron like puts up like a hand to like silence him for a second. And he goes, my admiral meant to say that this was very impromptu, as you hear the sounds of like a scream off in the distance, and like a stabbing that's like happening, like very like catching like these, runaways.
They're in the middle of a rout, and we already have a diplomacy tent up. Yeah,
we've got the
like there's still a rout going on in the background.
Right. And so she goes,
John Jack is suspicious of how fast
this diplomacy tent has
come up. Like
yeah.
I am questioning.
Wonderful. Is there anything of this showing on your face? Can you roll me a deception check?
I can do those.
That's insight for them. That's insight for them. Those are all relatively good. That's bad.
23.
That's bad.
Okay. So 23. With a 23, the elvish woman that appears to be the envoy of the posterity's appears to clock you. The
she's one of us.
The halfling woman, the general there, appears to clock you. And the gnome appears to clock you, or the gnoll appears to clock you in this moment.
I gotta respect the
gnoll. Sniffed your ass.
The other 3 are not paying attention at all. Thricemark clocks you, but he doesn't really, he sort of trusts you. Like he sees you giving a face, and he's like, So she kind of goes, well, let me introduce myself. I'll start with myself first off. General Derry of representing the Kingdom of Kelkeri, King Kimbertos Kelkeri's forces. She kind of like gestures to next to her, sitting on her right hand side, this gnoll who like does not appear to pay attention for a second, and then he looks, he goes, Sar, well, not Sar, next Sar, Churn, the something. We've actually lost count of the generations at this point. Yes, Crown. Actually, DM timeout. What the fuck do you call the heir to a Sardom? Is this
heir to a Czar?
Yeah, no idea. Heir to a Sar.
I think it's just Prince.
Okay, so
I think it's just Prince.
Yeah, I'm like Prince Churn of the Sardom.
Let me just double check.
Yeah, I started this and I went, wait a second, what would his fucking title be technically? Right.
That's a good question.
But it kind of passes to the next woman, to this to the elf. She looks and she goes, Jayen.
Heir apparent is Cesarovich.
Oh, Cesarovich. Cesarovich.
Sorry. Zarovich.
Oh, Interesting.
Son of the Tsar.
Gotcha. Okay. Wonderful. She goes, Jayen,
Nice.
here on behalf of the Merchants Guild of Iptharun, passes,
Sorry, can you repeat
Lajan
that? Sorry.
Velamtok,
Yeah,
Crown Prince of the Pastabian dynasty. Duke, wait, is the next one the Duke? No, the next one is the, Scottish. Timpton Ledwell, of the Tillydelian forces, general of the Tillydelian forces. Resistance, technically. Although I suppose there's not much that we're resisting at this point. He kind of like looks over, gestures to the small fat halfling, and Duke Bellwether Blarney, Duke of the Duchy of Blarney. And it sort of like passes around. So they all kind of look at you, and so it goes back to the halfling woman, and she just goes, "Yeah, and we'd mainly like to give thanks for the fact that you were, willing to, well, I mean, that," and she like sort of just like gestures outside the tent at the battlegrounds that you guys had just fought on, and goes, "Yeah, quite a feat of strength, by the way. Well done." I suppose, and she's like, "Tell me, did you guys even break a sweat? You seem in, well, relatively good conditions."
Strong healing magics.
I am rubbing my neck. Well, I took a freaking power nap before we got in here, so.
Yeah, quite a few of us lost consciousness at least once.
Power nap.
Indeed. Well, pleased to make your acquaintance. She kind of like gestures and goes, "If you, I mean, feel free to introduce yourselves. If you'd like, no pressure. Not everyone's good at these sort of functions." But she sort of gestures over. She starts like at the right hand side where the very tall Aarakocra that is just standing there directly and kind of like, "Yeah, I haven't seen many of your folk outside of the north."
You don't often do. Kid Roo from the Sompian North.
Wonderful. Derry Kelcari. And like, just goes around and takes your guys' introductions. If you guys, if there's anything special that you guys would like to say here, just sort of like passes around. She does notice you actually, Jean-Jacques off the bat.
Hashtag warlock problems. Like, wait a second. Do I say something?
Do I
like,
speak?
I was like, yes, Jean-Jacques, Tooth of Kleckmanju. Like,
right. Do I speak?
Gesundheit?
Do I speak?
Or screeching? Like, what? It's one of those two. It's like,
yeah. But she who appears to have clocked your sort of concern there, she just kind of like gestures over, and she goes, "Well, mainly this is just to, determine, what protection should be given to this place, because, anyone that, we heard tell," she kind of like looks over at, Timpton, who like is the, sort of Tillydelian representative, and she's like, "We heard tell of, mainly of, horrific atrocities. We haven't really been able to get over this way too much." And he goes, "Aye, people strung out, heads cut off, bodies, that sort of thing. I mean, the ones on pikes that you can see outside of the town there." And she's kind of like, "Oh, we haven't closed distance quite yet." And he goes, "Yeah, horrific abuses of human, gnome, halfling, and such forth, humanoid-like." He kind of looks at the knoll at this moment, and he's like, "Sorry, humanoid-like." And like he sort of like looks around, and he's like, "And a general soiling of the entire sort of landscape here. It's been a bit of an uphill struggle." She goes, "Right. All of that. She goes, "Right, all of that. So instead, what we're going to focus on is we're going to see if we can get, I don't know, anything that would make sense to have more people here, to have oversight on this sort of thing. she kind of like looks at like the she kind of looks at Jayan, the sort of the merchant there, and looks over at you, Jean-Jacques, and just goes, as representatives of your people, I mean, there's no like structure under the despot, is there? It's just the despot and like the people that work for her.
The despot's long arm.
Yeah.
And there was structure, but it was corrupt. It was evil, and it exploited its people and the rich culture of what Iptharun used to be. I am not old enough to have the privilege to see my homeland for what it once was, but it has survived through its songs and its traditions and little shards of what it once was. And I think I could speak for the people as someone who's suffered greatly to say, we just want that back.
Right. Okay. And she kind of like looks around here for a second, and she goes, she kind of like looks over at the merchant. This you guys all know, representative of the thieves guild. She kind of like looks and goes, well, I personally think that I mean, there's a lot of people, as our friend here has so outwardly stated, and correctly, that have, you know, been wronged by the leader here. And namely, obviously, you know, I know none of you guys want them back on the throne again, or any of their ilk. And at that, you know, the Knoll kind of stamps his spear and goes, "Here, here." And you know, like there's kind of a few like deferential like gestures as he does so. And she goes, but I mean, I do think that perhaps the best thing that would be available here would be some sort of you know, would be to get the people into a position where they feel comfortable and happy and free and able to do what they like, because gods know they haven't been able to do that for way too long at this point. It kind of like pans over, and
if I may,
indeed.
with the right support from the surrounding countries in terms of trade, and perhaps lenient tariffs, perhaps Iptharun may quickly jump to its feet. Our resources have been dwindled, but our people starve not just for food, which we would be very likely to buy, but for purpose. Our position as a country on the Cape may help us become quite a trading hub. With the grace of your respective countries, perhaps we will go from an iron wall to an open door.
The Knoll kind of speaks up here and he goes, so Churn speaks up and he goes, so are you saying you'd like assistance in rebuilding your country? Do you want us to? I mean, I would need to check with my dad Dasar, but if you need assistance in this matter,
not assistance, but patience. I think when a people works for their own good, they work hard, they work honestly. When people work for the good of someone who wishes them ill, and I gesture out the door or the flap to the barren wasteland dripping in blood and covered in corpses. We don't need help rebuilding. We need the chance. Rebuilding will happen.
The
Open trade, forgiveness, and hope. That's, I believe, as a humble merchant of sorts in the past. That's my opinion.
You see in this moment that the halfling woman that Derry goes to speak, and she goes, well, and just for a second, you see Lageron Relentok raise his hand. He sort of gestures very briefly, and he goes, I don't mean to call you out, my friend, but because the services you have done us have been great. However, our first encounter with you as a nation was inside of our prisons, and we know that. And he kind of gestures around to the sort of like surrounding countryside, and he goes, how would one such as this have been allowed to take power without some sort of support?
Through death and fear. Same as do now as we are fighting to end.
We did not start this route by parading that head. It was a nation ruled by cowards, run by cowards, enforced by cowards, who taught their people to know only the fear they had themselves in their hearts. It took very little, and they spread like roaches with a torch. We didn't have to parade the head. And we have not paraded the head, although he's kept it. He likes trophies.
We
will not follow that path. I will not allow Iptharoon to follow that path again.
He sort of steeples his fingers and he goes, but even with the best of intentions, is it not possible that one of you might rise to the same sort of... I mean, how are you to know which sort of generals, which sort of... without outside... And you see that the halfling cuts him off there and goes, indeed, I believe the halfling woman from Calcary. She cuts him off and she goes, indeed, I believe that, honestly, that... Is it not... I mean, look at the state of this place. Is it not perhaps better to get who you can out and to raise it all and start from square one?
Bold suggestions from countries quite far flung. I appreciate the assistance, but have you come as aid? Or have you come as conquerors? Because if you've come as conquerors, you will find similar resistance among the people as the despot. I look over the despot.
You can roll an intimidation check here against her.
Yeah. People have suffered long enough. 14, unfortunately.
She appears to steal her nerve here. You watch her jaw kind of set a little bit. However, you see that Vellum Lageron, he reaches his hand up and he just goes, I meant only to suggest that perhaps you might need, I don't know, some sorts of, assistance, some sorts of a person here who might be able to guide you in the ways that you need to be able to look out for this resistance. For any other of her ilk.
How about a rotating council? There's one land, ultimately, even if we draw borders in the sand. Those
Speaking
evils
of-
were committed against all of us.
Speaking of
If there's
borders, forgive me if I overreach and I look towards the other members of Iptharuni's heritage.
Yeah.
It's like Citadel deserves their forests back. What has been done to their land has been in our land, but what has been done to their land has been a grievous sin by the monster that sits atop that blade. And they are they've been our greatest allies. And I look to the Tiladelians.
Mm-hmm.
They've been our greatest allies in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And they deserve all the best that our country, what remains of it, can offer them. They've been our greatest friends.
You get a persuasion check here. I'm not going to tell you against who.
Yeah. Persuasion. 29.
Oh my god.
There is a palpable shift in the mood around you. Doesn't appear to come from everywhere, but in general. And you watch the Timton, the sort of general there. He kind of bows.
And I'm not being subtle or hidden in the fact that like I want Iptharun to fix Iptharun, and I want all the countries just to thank you so much. We will do everything we can to be the best country ever and do you all the good we can. But essentially, it's like,
right? You want.
We are nervous. We are kicked puppies. Do not reach out. I don't care if you have a treat in your hand. Don't reach out right now. Give us a second.
You want material stimulus versus like.
Yes, I want the Iptharuni's people to be able to earn their way in the world again because that has been stolen from us for so long.
Mm-hmm. So you watch as
and I believe they will do it.
You watch as this.
Maybe I'm naive, but like that's my approach.
You watch as this Tiladelian general as a Timton. He kind of begins to stroke his sort of beard there and goes. Scottish. He goes, very well. The thing that I appreciated vastly because we as sort of stewards of this forest for years uncounted, every bit of it that was lost hurts. The sheer amount of of trees in general, but much less the historic, the hearthwoods that were cut down, were burned down, were blighted from this earth.
Even the hearthwoods that laid within our traditional borders. She took that from us too.
He kind of nods. He goes, honestly, I mean, we have a large number of refugees. You know that at this point. I've heard a few of the reports on your doings over the years. I'll have you know, and the refugees that we have found, Shesk have been, I imagine they'd all like it the chance to return to their homelands if they need to. At this you hear the posterity's blade, Jayan, this sort of elven, she speaks up and she goes, yes, however, I would like to say that we may recently there might be more to the history of Iptharun than we had originally anticipated. The book that we she goes, we've had brief contacts with the bearded dragon crew here, orchestrating this sort of outlash, and the book that we had asked you about that your friend had, we found it, and he's all right, don't worry, but you notice a few eyebrows sort of cock at this around the. Notably Thrice Mark, like he appears to he cocks an eyebrow and he looks at them and then he looks at you, Uprush, and he sort of gestures with his head while everyone's sort of distracted. He kind of gestures out of the tent, and you see him start to slip off.
I'm gonna do the exact same. I'm just gonna just gently take a couple of steps back every now and again while people are talking.
Wonderful. Feel free to roll me a stealth check here.
I can do that.
And she continues to speak to the rest of the assembly here.
I'd like to do I notice that, or oh, never mind. I don't.
What do you say, 35? Oh yeah. No,
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was gonna be like,
gone.
oh, I'm gonna straighten myself
Never
out or
mind.
something,
Nope.
just to draw eyes with
Yeah.
movement. No, I don't even.
Yeah,
I-
gone.
You say nothing.
Admiral.
So she sort of
That's
mentioned.
why I'm the
She goes. He's fine. But this appears to be. And she kind of like looks around. And she goes, this appears to be a relic of some significance. To the history of Iptharun. And there's indications that there were. That there was a hold on. She goes, there's indications that there were a number of people long ago that no longer live here. We think that it may take some further investigating. But if she kind of looks around and she goes, with it is of my solemn belief and of the guild head who I represent, that these people should be allowed to return to their homeland if need be, because it doesn't it'll take some further investigation. We still haven't cracked the code entirely, but
Question to the DM.
yeah.
Am I missing something?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm like, what the hell is
Yeah.
she talking about? Who are these people?
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah, am I
Cool,
missing
more history.
something?
I like
Yes.
it. Okay, I'm
Right.
missing something. Awesome. Good to know. All right, I look at her because I'm missing
Yeah,
something.
right. And she's like, and they should be allowed a chance to return to their homeland as well. You see,
Forgive me for my youth, but to whom do you refer?
she goes, we still haven't cracked it yet. We're working on, but there's like there's tales of there being a great race of wizards who used to live in this place years and years uncounted ago. We've still got to crack the book, but
I'm suddenly gripping the spell book in my hand a little tighter. Oh no!
So
Wizards, you say? Oh no!
So this passes to blah, 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 blah. So okay, so that you see that the gnoll, he kind of like he goes, yes, I would be inclined to agree with I'm sorry, what was your name again, my friend? He gestures over at you, Jean-Jacques.
I'd be Jean-Jacques.
Wonderful. I'd be inclined to agree with you, Jean-Jacques. And Barbosa. No, wait. He did catch. Sorry, Hector. He did catch your name. You probably didn't say your last name. He goes, I'd be inclined to agree with you, Jean-Jacques and Hector, about perhaps a council would be a good idea. If you're entirely certain that you need no outside assistance on this topic, we will simply provide what material goods we can afford. However, if this council requires any assistance in matters of national policy, we have a few that might be willing to assist.
I'd like to scan the room for at the mention of that, of the mention. Oh, we're looking. How many people look like they're like
Keyed in on that.
I guess jumping for influence. Like, oh, if we help with it, like kind of like the rush between the first and second worlds during the
Yeah.
Cold War.
Yeah.
To grab third world countries with their influence, their
Yeah. Tag
diplomats,
me with,
their ideas.
Hit me with an insight.
Insight. Yeah. I have a pretty good insight. If only I could roll well. 14.
Wonderful. Okay.
I have a plus
so
11.
The ones that you the ones that are inscrutable to you are one of them who you already know, which is the Posterity's Blade Merchant giant.
Yeah, and she's probably also like.
Yeah, you're like, we know what you know. What we know. We just talked about this. You're good. You're like even if I can't clock.
Not
you,
what they're talking about with the book, but
right.
We're on the same page.
You do clock the Derry, the general from Calcari, appears to be invested in trying to get into the Despotate, and
we are a very valuable position.
And the Duke of Blarney. Although you do notice now, you notice that his face is a little.
What was the first question? Churn? No.
It was Calcari and
Blarney and Calcari.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and so you although you do clock now also with that roll with the 14, you do clock on Blarney because he rolled a natural one on this. Also, you clock from the others. You clock Velemtok, not at all interested. He did just want to help in terms of like there was definitely some sort of like a little bit of like, we want to make sure we do right by this place, and we want to make sure we have a good political influence. Like that, we want to be a good partner. But like, it definitely wasn't like, it seemed like he was a little bit at odds with himself, even to them. Like the orders given might be a little different with like how he wants to respond. Blarney, you do clock on his face in this moment.
We can still trust Pastab.
Right. Even though he wants
keep an eye out for even if they're
let me also say, so the one thing that you do clock is you now recognize in this moment that there is a softness on that face, and you connect it to earlier your mention about like the destruction of trees and woodlands and giving back the homeland. It appears to like you appear to clock this in your mind that there is a softness there, but definitely still political agenda.
This is Tilladel?
No, Blarney.
Oh. Blarney.
Right. Something about your plea about the destruction of the wooded spaces appears to have
caught his attention.
Right. Like mellowed him out somewhat, but he still appears like he's keyed into his political interest, if that makes sense. So, let me ping real quick to outside. Because Jean-Jacques and Uprush and Thricemark snuck out. Thricemark looks at you and he goes, "Okay, first off, that woman, is there something more that you know about her that we do not know? Because she's giving me some weird fucking vibes."
So which one? Because I got weird vibes from like everybody in that room now.
The dark-haired woman.
Well, might have seen her a little while ago.
He kind of like oh shit, Uprush doesn't fuck I picked the one person who doesn't physically know. Wonderful. He goes it seemed like she had some sort of political machinations that were I don't know, beyond the scope of just being a merchant. Concerning. It is concerning to me because I don't know, there just was something about the way she spoke of this ancient spell book ancient book that they have recovered, that it seems odd to me.
Yeah. Well.
Oh wait, you probably would have keyed on to that actually with the mention of the book.
Yes. Although I, as the player, am having a very hard time remembering what the hell this book was about again.
You didn't get a lot of information about it. It was as you guys were leaving the your meeting with the Fist of the Past, where it was like, hey, if you guys know anything about your guy, let me know, because this book might be of some importance. And like now it seems that they have recovered it. So like the connection basically. Okay, so
terms.
Basically, the ones that were under the bookstore. You remember when we went under the erotic novel shop?
If you recall that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, he's just kind of like, I don't know. I was picking up some weird vibes off of her. I don't think that she has no machinations here. There's definitely something going on with them. Do you?
It's one of those moments where I am like, the deal comes up in my mind, and I'm like, I can't say anything, can I?
Oh,
Is that one of those moments?
Would this
Because I'm
would
sitting here
this
like,
be
I don't
think
know.
it's-
harming their operations. I don't think I would. Yeah, unless you consider it to be something that is deliberately harming their operations.
Yeah, there's like room for interpretation in the contract, which is kind of
fun. Yeah.
slippery.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I have trouble just keeping track of some of these guys sometimes. So is the elven one with the black hair and blue eyes, right?
Yes.
Yep.
She
She's
was the one
the
who
emissary
mentioned-
She's
for
like
the.
assistant. She's like one of his assistants, it seems.
She's the assistant to that guy who put that spell where we can't talk about
Right.
his shit that he's doing if it's going to be a detriment to what's going on.
Yes.
So, Flyspark has pulled me aside because she said something that alerted him.
She was being shifty.
Yeah.
Being shifty. She clearly has political machinations going on in the
keyed into
background,
fact
and she's
that-
not being subtle about it.
Right. He's like, this is not just a merchant that is like, she said she's from a merchant guild. This is not like, she is trying to push something here. You're right.
Okay.
And
And he's wondering what
He's
the
trying
hell
to,
is.
he's trying to key me in on the idea that like this might be some kind of political thing happening right in front of us, and he's looking for affirmation through
right,
me.
and get an idea of he's like hold on, just basically like I don't seem to, she's got something weird going on, I can't figure out what it is. Do you know any more information about her?
I do. You have to give me 1 second to sort through something in my head though.
All right.
Bear with me.
Yes.
Because now I have to think, okay, what can I tell him
Right.
that doesn't break the contract
Right.
while still giving him good information?
Well,
Wait, pause, Jeff. We'll let him get through it.
yeah.
I want to see what, because he's the only one that's there right now. I want to see what he.
Yeah. No,
Transfer
yeah,
system.
I can't.
Oh boy. Let's see. I tell him. She has. Okay. Should I assume that she has laid herself out as the assistant to this merchant guild leader? But what was that guy's name, anyways? I don't even remember his name.
The leader of the merchant guild,
Patrol.
who's called the Fist of the Past.
That guy was called the Fist of the Past.
That was his title. Yeah. I forget if he got his actual name.
He did get his actual name. You'll see. I'll see if one of you guys can find it. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
She. All that she's said so far is that she works on behalf of the Merchants Guild of the Despotate, which is not technically true based on what you know. I mean, it kind of, but not really. You know what I mean? Like Underground Thieves Guild, Merchants Guild, kind of separate things.
The closest thing there could be to a Merchant's Guild under the Despotate.
Right. But still.
Yeah. Right. They might actually turn into a Merchant's Guild now. Old habits die hard, but it's possible.
So he's just kind of studying you intensely. If you want me to cut away for a moment so you can think of it, I can do that, and then we can cut back. With that,
I think what I'll start with saying is that while their help can be good, they are a neutral force in their own right.
Interesting. He just looks at. Give me a. We'll do just a. What would be a good way to communicate what you're saying? Let's do a performance check here. And he's gonna hit you with an insight.
Okay, cool.
Performance versus I like that.
Yeah. Well, because he's not technically, he has to convey the information.
It's not persuading. It's not deceiving. It is the way he can, his ability to verbalize what's going on in his
17.
head.
17. Okay. So he takes a look at that and he goes, "Okay, interesting. More information than I was anticipating to have. Do you? He's sized up. You see in this moment that he has sized up that you're like." That there is something you can't say. That is what he can pick up in this moment with that.
We're giving him like two thumbs up, like
He's like, is there, is that book anything to worry about?
Have we not heard about this book before?
Not really. You knew that there was a spell book I wish I could remember what the name of Big One's. What was the name of Big One's character, Landon? Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
Oh, right.
the orc artificer.
Right, who showed up with this spell book.
Yeah.
So he
Oh,
has
yeah.
this, and now you're learning that it's some sort of ancient book, some sort of relic.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that is the only information that you know so far, is that apparently there's information on the people who lived there before, that there was a wizard society of some sort, and that's all you know about this book. He's like, so anyway, he's asking, is this book something to be worried about?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. I have no idea.
Brilliant.
That's one thing I can give you full. Like, I have
that's-
no idea. We've never heard about this before.
That's his same reaction, where he's just like, okay, interesting, good to know. I appreciate the help, and he'll like go to gesture back inside. We'll ping back to inside where you had just keyed on to who had what political machinations.
Yeah, Calcary, Blarney.
Right.
Blarney softened up.
Real
His
quick,
job is here to honestly just help out the
Yes,
country.
Travis.
do I know anything about this Kokari general?
Oh, roll me. Yeah, let's do history with advantage, because
That's a good question.
'Cause, yeah.
right there.
Advantage.
I don't need advantage, not 20.
brilliant. Okay, so with a nat 20,
Give me those rolls.
my pen is not working.
Oh.
You know that that this woman. So with a nat 20, you know that this is General Derry Gerian of Calcary. She was stationed at one point in Winterstone, so you do recognize her personally. Not that you have met her, but like you have heard about her 100%. Through the person who we will not name in this moment because plot reasons. So, you know that she is she is famously known for being that. How do I describe it? She operates with more kindness than she actually possesses. She is a hard ass below the surface. You know this information, and you know that it is one of her tactics to get to understand and get below her opponent's exteriors a lot easier. With a nat 20,
interesting.
with a nat 20, you think that like the Calcary influence sort of here, right? This is a nation that has long been an enemy, and Calcary does not have a history of trading with this side of the continent very well. Most of their trade partner has been Pastab and a little bit of Slalokia, right? They don't interact with this side of the continent much at all. They have to have shipments of wood brought over from the Duchy of Blarney across the fucking Deadlands in order to get to them, right? Like, it's a lot. So it appears that what they want most is to have a foothold here through whatever means possible. Is what you are picking up in this moment, right? If they believe that a foothold, you get the inclination with her tactics that this is, if the foothold is we kick down the fucking door and we rule this place, we will do it. If the foothold is we have positive trading relations, we will do it. If the foothold is we have a warm tongue whispering into their ear, we will do it, right? Appears to be what the sort of like angle is here, specifically from her.
I'll quickly tap John Jack and just point at my head.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna hit you with a stealth check, and I've got to hit you with an insight check over here, or
Yep.
I guess perception. Keyed. Okay. Brilliant.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, cool. So, you do point at your head. You notice out of the corner of your eye that a few people do spot you. Notably, though.
It's got high ass stats here.
Notably, you are
makes sense.
not spotted by Derry Gideon from Calcary. You are not spotted by Duke Bellwether Blarney, and you are not spotted. You are not spotted by Timpton Ledwell. You are spotted by the other three. So Vellum Toke, the Posterity's Blade attendee, and the Sardovich churn.
Fine with all those.
Wonderful. Okay, so you guys have a moment to communicate.
Yeah, as soon as I know that he can hear into my mind, I'm giving him service thought of all the information.
I can't.
You can't?
Can't you always
That's a
communicate
concentration
in other
spell.
people's head? Or...
One way.
Oh no! Oh right.
I have message though,
Oof.
so I can
Yeah, if you hit me with a stealth check, I'll let you do message.
Honestly, I'm not even gonna hit with a
Okay.
stealth check. I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder. I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I'll put my hand on his shoulder and I'm gonna just like make it blatantly obvious. I am casting message.
Oh.
I'm
Wonderful.
communicating with my party member.
Okay.
That is, I'm and I'm pointing at him.
Okay. So
And I give him
your-
an attentive look. It is blatantly obvious we are
yeah,
communicating.
your shit, well,
You're
your
doing
shit-
so silently, but
Yeah, it's gonna go off, right? So you guys
Yeah.
get the message back and forth between you two.
Yeah.
So
I go beep, and now you can respond.
Yeah. I immediately start giving you the information about the general and
Right.
the plan.
I don't even look at her.
Because,
In fact, I look at I look at Liddell and I do give them a genuine warm smile. So I guess it's a deception to everyone, but my smile to the Tillidalian representatives
wonderful.
is genuine because I am very friendly with them and I'm
Alright,
very happy
cool.
with them.
Hit it.
So I guess
Tag
it's a mixed
Yep.
performance deception. I don't know if I want to they really care even what I think.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely gonna see as this goes off. You are definitely gonna see them key in, and you are gonna see from Sardovich certain churn. He just goes, "Is there something you guys want to share with the class?"
It's been a very long months. It's been a long time getting to this place. And frankly, I'm curious what he's going to do with that head.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so this is deception. Okay, so tag me with a deception.
Now it's just deception. Like
Yeah.
what are you doing with that? Like what? Now I'm just lying.
Piss. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
25.
Yeah. 25. 25. Oh. Okay. So that does affect things. Does he still pass? He does still pass. He does not. Okay.
Who is passing these things?
This
We'll have
one.
to find out.
This one is the Tillidalian guy who is just looking at you, and you see that he cocks an eyebrow quizzically, but like does not appear to pass it.
I can now I can do this. I telepathically, without any motion, without any indication, I teleport it. No, I'm lying out my ass. He was giving me insight on what someone else said. Don't worry about it. The smile to you was just a red flag.
Wonderful. He's the one that picks it up.
I'm so happy with you guys. I love you guys.
None of the rest.
You're
None of the rest appear to pick it up.
I just-
Barely. Barely. None of the rest pick it up.
I'm
close.
gonna telepathically shoot a
Yeah.
Adrian is like, I love you. Thank you. I can't do that again. I am not getting away with that again.
So let's see. So that was there. Okay. So the churn who appears to be supporting you guys in this sort of council endeavor will just turn and like look at the Kalkari at General Derry and just go, well, I mean, honestly, it's probably the best bet that they have some sort of control over their own abilities and country. I understand your concern with the not electing any pissers and all, but I mean, I imagine you two. He's gonna gesture at Jean-Jacques or I guess you three. He's gonna gesture at Posterity's Blade, Jean-Jacques, and Tillydale at Timpton, and he's just gonna go, I assume you guys have some recommendations for the position.
In fact, I do. This table here may not be made out of the best representative for what is a shattered country. But I do. And I look towards the representative for the fist. And I imagine you have a list as well of some kind.
Indeed, we've got at least 1 or 2 people we think might be able to serve on council.
And I look towards who was the other one?
Tillydale. So Timpton Ledwell.
Oh, Tillydale. Oh, yeah, Tillydale. Yeah, and as friends and neighbors, perhaps do you? I look towards the Tillydalians.
He goes, well, the sorts of issues is
many of our people have been within your borders living as refugees. If you know of any leaders among those refugees, I believe they have the right to be represented.
Well, we could suggest any of our sort of generals. I mean, if they're willing to step down, but let's see.
I meant more so of the Iptharuni's refugees.
Oh. Unfortunately, none that I've had the honor of meeting myself. I've been generally. I'd need to stop by and ask with one of the. I mean, let's see. Hoshesk, that would be Mayor Steffian. That would be Kenver Goodeye. Oh.
No, sorry, that's not a character.
On,
that's not a character. That's me as a
cool.
player. No, that's me as the player, just going, that shit in. No, I don't want it. No, not a character.
Yeah,
sorry.
Okay.
No, it's not.
That would be very funny. Yeah.
That would be funny.
He's like,
but
hold on, I've keyed in. I need information now. Okay. Yeah. So he's like, that would be Mayor Steffian. That would be Kenver Goodeye. I could ask with either of them and see if there's any information that they could give me.
I do mentally go, Eric.
Huh?
I recommend Goodeye.
Okay, into his head. All right, cool.
Steffian kind of betrayed the refugees, but we can go over that problem later. I mean, that's amongst you guys. That's a you problem.
Both of his eyebrows fly up very briefly.
That's you guys. Just is no longer an us problem. He's not a friend.
Hold on 1 second. I've got to make a quick call. And he steps outside, and you hear sending off very.
I was
briefly.
Not expecting such a visceral reaction.
Scroll of sending, and you go, yeah, grab him, yeah, throw him in the dungeon, yeah, we've got very important stuff to talk about with that guy. And, like immediately.
That is very cathartic to hear. Wow. This guy, a friend to the country, clearly.
Selling out the resistance. Leader of the resistance might perhaps go, holy fuck, let's deal with this. Yeah, okay, wonderful. So he goes, right, sorry, very important thing to deal with. He just, Churn just goes, clearly. So he just goes, okay, I mean, those would be my suggestions, but if you've got any suggestions of your own, I'm willing to hear them out.
Never have I met someone who's sacrificed so much for her people, who is as cool and level-headed and wise beyond her years as Brione Tumba's daughter. And she is currently, Gods protect her,
He goes, right, it's one of my captains.
Leading the insurgency from the northwest from... I'm never going to be able to do this properly.
Smeva.
For a while, too.
Smeva to Stille,
yeah.
Right? Is that it? Okay. She's currently leading an insurgency from Smeva to Stille, freeing people along the way. We've been able to arm her portion of resistance, and she's been leading them wisely, bravely, and loyally. I think she's a shoo-in for such a position.
He goes, "Aye, one of my." You watch as sort of like the rest of the council just goes, like you watch Bellwether Blarney. He just sort of looks over and he goes, "And can she be trusted with this sort of position?" And you watch as Ledwell just goes, "Aye, she's one of my own captains. She's led faithfully for 10, 20 years now. She's been a good soldier and a good strategic head. would do well as a I don't know, military asset probably on the council. I could support that recommendation. You see the posterity's blade just goes, very well. As long as let's see, yeah, we'd like to nominate one of our people just as a stand-in of the merchants. Just in order to help facilitate trade and the like. Before we fill out this council too much.
In fact, that was going to be my second recommendation. Despite their presence under the rule of the despot, they've been neutral to her rule and have allowed Iptharun to function economically during this time and have been crucial in aiding this resistance. We can say this openly now due to looks at the despot again.
Yeah.
The removal of the head of state. Oh, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, and thus a representative from the Merchants Guild would be crucial in maintaining what little shards are left of the Iptharuni's economy. I would trust no other body with the economic health of our re-burgeoning nation.
She nods her head at you, and her sort of steely blue eyes sort of
Yep.
meet yours,
Yep.
and just nod.
I don't know what's going on with you, and I will tell her this mentally. I do not know the true intentions of your thing, but you have been invaluable in making this happen. Thank you.
You hear her respond briefly in your head, and because this is this
She could do
message.
that? No,
never mind.
unfortunately,
You do not hear her
this is
respond.
one way. Okay, yeah. I wish. I
was trying to
wish it
remember
was a
if this is
two-way
message.
connection,
Yeah.
but it's one way.
You can do that?
You just see.
Yeah, she can. Wow,
Oh.
cool. Another gulag. What's up?
You just see her nod.
Or an artifact. I don't know.
Yeah, you just see her nod and just meet your eyes there, and you see Churn kind of lazily, who's just still messing with his spear, just he's appeared to have flipped it over and is just using it to scratch his gnoll back, and is just right. So that's let's see, that's I got a good spot right there. Hold on. Scritch. He goes. All right. So that's military. That's merchants. Let's see. What do we need? We need some sort of political figurehead. Someone that is good at the communications with others.
We will do our best to find that person, but let's just say our last political head was not a great example, so it might take us some time to find someone trustworthy in that realm of expertise.
And you see that Ledwell now speaks up, and he kind of he appears to have been mulling it over in your mind, and he makes eye contact with the Duke of Blarney here, and he just goes, perhaps we might need a representative, someone to help kickstart this sort of recovery effort of the environment around here, because it's piss. It's absolute piss.
This is brutal.
He goes, I know a number of
Once the bones of the council are built, I feel as though maybe, and I look towards the merchant representative, something like that can be discussed. But I would like to make one more nomination.
Indeed.
If I may. This one's a stranger pick. But it tends specifically to the wounds of the land.
Okay.
There's a druid by the name of Atimba who has been crucial in teaching those who've been stuck when the borders were pushed back in Tilladel, and for the refugees of the Despotate to adapt to the new landscape, literally. And he has been a diplomat beyond measure. Never have I seen an individual be able to convince lizard folk the concept of mercy.
They go lizard folk. haven't interacted with many lizard folk roundabouts. Where did you find them?
They've been here all along. I don't know if the book, and I look towards the merchant again. I don't know if your book mentioned them. I'm not familiar with the book. But they've been here in the swamps. They've been here in the marshes underground, and the despot has pushed them out of their homeland, just like he's pushed away so many others.
Huh.
And he's been working in tandem with them to help move refugees out from the despotate.
Oh, so he's the head of the he's been the one who's been our point of contact.
It is entirely likely, yes. He's the only individual I know of that's been able to maintain a better route than me in and out of the room.
He kind of like nods his head at that, and he goes, I mean, certainly seems qualified enough for me. We'll take an opportunity to go and discuss with him, because I'd love to.
He may decline. In fact, it would be very much in his nature to decline, but I don't think he'd pass up the opportunity to heal both the land and its people.
That's one of my main concerns here. He says, like, he just kind of like, and you see he's kind of like for a second his gaze like drifts downward just to like an area of the, like, it doesn't appear that this has that this tent has a floor, so like there's like a bit of like scrub brush that's sort of like just oozing like this sort of like brackish color, and he sort of like looks at it and he just goes, that's one of my main concerns as well.
And perhaps he could be of some political insight, but if he were he to be called in for such capacity, I do not think he'd stay for long.
Well, as good as someone to begin it as any, I suppose. He goes, right. Small council, let's see. So we've got head of the we've got head of the military, we've got head of the merchants, we've got I mean, would he be heading up any sorts of farming effort then, do you believe?
In fact, that would be his realm of expertise, yes.
Okay. Alright, so farming efforts, and then let's see. I don't believe we have any. Actually, I do believe that we have a magician that might be relevant here. And he suggests, where the fuck is my page with all of the gnome names? I've lost my gnome page, damn me. He goes, yeah, I believe that there's a gnome here that might be of some use to you. He appears to have forgotten the name himself. But he goes, I believe in terms of at least some sort of magical defense of this place. At least something of our own might be helpful to you. If that sounds amenable, what is that? 4-person fight? Yeah, a 4-person council. Does that sound amenable to you?
I look towards. Yeah. John Jack has found himself, despite his passion on the subject, very uncomfortably in the spotlight.
Yeah.
And not in a way that he's here to make a show.
Right.
He's not here to distract. He's not here to. He's just
Here.
Uncomfortably in the middle of it all, and it's starting. And I don't know if it's starting to show, but it's just like, guild, till adult. Like,
that's him. He sort of like nods, and like
he also had the intrusive thought, like, oh, political prowess. Me? No, I'd hate that.
Yeah. You see that
he still holds out to that dream that he and his old friend used to have to sail the seas and be free, and those are mutually exclusive.
You hear that you see that the general from Calcari goes to raise her hand and like goes, I believe that there's even more information that we could really gain on this topic. I think that we should perhaps discuss a couple other nominations other than just the simple. And at this point, a messenger runs in from outside, and he goes, hey, sorry to distract and cause problems for. And you see at that moment that the general from Kelkari puts her hand over her own ear, and she goes, shut up. What? No, you're telling me, and then you hear a weird, like, pulsing sound come out of her mouth for just a second, and she goes, it's gone? There's no way. The entire town gone. And you see the messenger goes, yeah, that's what we just got the information for. The town on the western coast of Kelkari, and he vomits the same, like, pulsing, like, whoomp, whoomp, whoomp sound effect. He goes, is gone. Everyone there. There was some sort of they said that there was some fucking dragon that flew out of the fucking sky, and the town's gone. So can't really do a lot about that. And
sorry, what the name? What town?
And you feel in your moment, you're like, hold on.
Something's wrong.
Something is, and in this moment, you go to recall
Something's
memories. You're like,
very
hold on,
wrong.
eastern towns of Kelkari, and you begin scanning down the continent, and you go Winterstone, Erigian, fine, gone. And you go, hold on, that can't be right. That's where we all started. That's where we all began. It can't be gone. What about? You're trying to think of names. You're trying to think of faces, and they're gone in your head. They're like, it's like there's this small, like, absence, this void just within you at the place where these things should be. And he goes, there was a dragon attack. We haven't heard of a fucking dragon in these parts for forever.
I turn towards Kid Room.
Yeah.
How's he reacting to all this?
Yeah, Kidru, what's your
So, I probably have nothing with the, like, void, the absence, because I've never been there. I didn't start there. So I don't have any of that happening.
Yeah.
But a dragon fucking people up makes me angry.
And there's just this moment of like, hold on, like, everything there. You start to think about the names, and well, I'll get to this in that sort of after thing, because I don't know how to describe it right now. But in this moment, there's sort of like this pulsing sound effect, and like everyone you can think of from that location is just gone to you. However, you're snapping through your connections, and you're like, okay, the hand. I still remember the hand. Is the hand not there? I still remember, and you're starting to like tag these sorts of like names and faces of like, okay, so
Not everybody.
But Jean-Jacques, you hear very briefly, just in the back of your mind, you just hear like hey Jean-Jacques, we might have a problem. There is there was sort of an explosion, or not an explosion, or a lack of an explosion, a distance away from us, and you might want to check out what's going on over here.
Who's this name to be?
You, Jean-Jacques, you right, or not Jean-Jacques, sorry, did I say Jean-Jacques?
Yeah,
the whole time I meant Uprush, my bad, sorry.
Oh, Uprush.
Uprush.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry. Uprush. There was sort of an explosion and like a dragon that flew by, and yeah, it's bad. You might want to check this out. And then that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Shit.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Wave.